House of Cards, live on Facebook and YouTube.
It's going down now.
Locked and loaded with the truth.
And welcome in, everybody. It is the House of Cards, powered by United Digital Promotions, right here on the Big Patriot Radio Network. I'd like to welcome all of you that are listening and watching in tonight. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, every platform is on fire right now. So glad to have you on here. Don't forget to tune in to BigPatriotRadio.com for our program of podcasts that we have. Monday nights at 7 and 9 Eastern is the New America Movement. Tuesdays at 7 and 8 o'clock is the Overton Report with Corey Allen. Thursday at 7 is the House of Cards. And Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern is Culture Crossroads with Andrew Southwick. And 8 o'clock is Frank Friedenauer's Freedom Hour. So tonight, let me hear from you. Chime in on your chat bar. Let us know what's going on with you tonight. Whether you want to, bitch, bellyache, say something positive, whatever. It's all good. We'd love to hear from you. And good to see Helga. Good to see you on here already tonight. Before we get too far carried away, let's go ahead and take a listen to the news. And don't forget, the news is available every hour at the top of the hour on BigPatriotRadio.com.
This is VOA News. I'm Scott Walterman. Former U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday pleaded not guilty in federal court to 4 criminal counts, charging him with plotting to overturn his 2020 presidential election loss. The federal charges accuse him of orchestrating a brazen and ultimately failed attempt to block the peaceful transfer of presidential power. After the hearing, Trump made a brief comment after leaving the courtroom.
So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him. We can't let this happen in America. Thank you very much.
The next hearing in the case will be on August 28th. Saudi Arabia says it will extend its unilateral production cut of 1 million barrels of oil a day through the end of September in its effort to boost flagging energy prices. GasBuddy.com's Patrick DeHaan says the move will make gas more expensive at pumps around the world.
It certainly puts a damper on things moving forward. The Saudis maintaining a pretty tight balance of supply and demand and potentially pushing the market more towards the side of imbalance. That's part of the reason why oil prices have rallied for 5 straight weeks. The price of oil now at $81 a barrel.
The Saudi reduction, which began in July, comes as other OPEC Plus producers have agreed to extend earlier production cuts through next year. Nigeria's president on Thursday told delegations from ECOWAS to do whatever it takes to reach an amicable resolution in Niger. They embarked on talks in the capital of Niger to resolve the standoff following last week's coup. ECOWAS on Sunday gave the junta a week to reinstate the democratically elected president before they take military action. This is VOA News. Islamic State on Thursday confirmed the death of its leader, Abu Hassan al-Hassani al-Qurayshi, and named Abu Hafs al-Hassami al-Qurayshi as his replacement. The announcement came from the group's spokesperson in an undated recording published on its Telegram channel. It appeared to be the militant group's first official announcement on his fate since Turkey's President Erdogan said in April that Turkish intelligence forces had killed him in Syria. Nigeria is turning to gas as an alternative fuel after it scrapped a popular but costly subsidy on petrol that has seen pump prices rise sharply, angering motorists and businesses that use petrol to generate their own power. State oil firm NNPC said late on Thursday it has partnered with NIPCO Gas to speed up the adoption of compressed natural gas for buses, cars, and tricycles to lower transportation costs. Mexican officials met last month with U.S. and Canadian officials in Mexico to talk about combating the trafficking of the synthetic opioid fentanyl. Here's VOA's Julia Riera with the story.
Today, fentanyl, most of it illegally produced, is behind most opioid-related deaths, according to the NIH. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 150 people die every day from overdoses related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Opioids are a global problem, particularly in the U.S., where they are the leading cause of U.S. overdose deaths, according to the CDC. Julia Riera for VOA News, Washington.
A man rammed a car onto a sidewalk in South Korea, then stepped out of the vehicle and began stabbing people at a shopping mall. Authorities say at least 14 people were wounded in the country's second mass stabbing in a month. At least 5 people were hurt by the car and 9 others were stabbed in the attacks that occurred in a crowded leisure district near a subway station in the city of Sanam. Both the Associated Press and AFP are reporting the United States is preparing to deploy sailors and Marines aboard commercial tankers transiting the Strait of Hormuz, part of an effort to deter Iran from seizing ships. The security details would provide a further layer of protection as the world's most oil passes through this section of water. VOA Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb reached out to the Pentagon, which said they had no comment.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
All right, this week on Big Patriot Radio for the second week in a row, not surprising that the number one song, Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town, on the most requested list of the week. And Summerville, South Carolina coming in with the highest number of listeners this past week. So congratulations to those folks out of Summerville. Take a moment, if you would. We're waiting for our guest to come on. We're on a tight schedule with this guest, so we're going to try to stretch this as he's coming on. Take a guess, or take a gander rather, at the screen, the crawler there on your screen. Go to the website below on your screen. That is patreon.com/Buford House of Cards, and take a look at how you can help independent news and independent journalists keep shows like this on the air for you. We do have a lot of stuff coming up tonight. Let me check and make sure that he should be coming on here any minute. We're going to be talking to probably, if not one of he is the smartest, most intelligent person I've ever heard of, let alone meet, when it comes to computers and IT stuff, voting machines, that whole that whole IT thing, that technology there. Anyway, Mark Cook is going to be on here with us. A little bit after that, he's going to tell us about some things that are going on with the Republican National Committee and this effort to bank the vote. Your county may have sent you some material talking about banking the vote in an effort. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but anyhow, that's going to be coming up. We are going to talk a little bit about some breaking news that happened over the week, specifically at the Beaufort County School Board meeting just the other night. A couple of the teachers that have been under the microscope, if you will, from one parent in particular, made an appearance, and along with their brood and some other folks. We're going to go into that and some of the sensationalism that we're seeing from our very own Island Packet and Beaufort Gazette. Imagine that. Sensationalism coming from them. I've had some conversations this week with one of the spouses of one of those teachers. For the most part, been a pretty decent conversation. Obviously, he's going to stick up for his wife, and I would think something was wrong if he didn't. Let's see here. We have a message here. Let me send this back to him. Bear with us here, folks. We're going to, this is all, when you have live, this is what happens. So let's go over here. We're going to send an email out to our guest. He is coming in from, I believe it is Colorado. I know he lives in Colorado, so I'm assuming that is where Patriot MC hooked up with Proton Mail this week, supposedly a much more secured server, if you will. It's a little difficult to work around. I don't know if any of you have had that, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty decent email program. I'm not going to use that as the go-to, if you will. There, we sent that to him, and hopefully he will be able to log on. But the Proton Mail, and I am by no means an expert in any of that, but I'm not sure what makes that so secure as opposed to anything else. But supposedly it is. So we'll see. We shall see. And again, once again, we'd love to hear from you in the chat bar for your particular, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. You have a chat bar. Go ahead and put something in there, like you saw Helga recently, just a few minutes ago, had said that she was on here. Feel free. Okay, we'd love to hear from you. Love to see who's on here on the screen. Give you a platform. Kind of like my buddy Al Flowers with Talk One Radio. When he had that show, it always gave a platform for folks to be able to say civilly, say whatever it is you want to say. And I don't know if this is our problem or his. Let's see. We're waiting for the key. Man, you gotta love technology. Tells me he gets the invite, but it shows a 404 error. I have no idea what that is. What is a 404 error? Anyway, back to what we're going to talk about tonight. So we've got that. We're going to talk about the Beaufort County School District meeting, the school board meeting. I was one of the callers. I understand that the sound may not have been the best. I don't know if it could have been my phone. I mean, I'm on the phone all day long. Had to be on the school board's end. I'm assuming nobody's accusing anybody of anything. Don't let that get your panties in a wad. But anyway, I was so worried that the school board members may not have heard what I had to say, because what I had to say was directed to them, not really anybody else. People in the crowd or people at home watching, that's just a bonus. So I went ahead and took my transcript that I always keep, and I emailed them the transcript. And as of right now, 7/18. 2 days later, still have heard nothing from any of them. So anyway, is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Is what it is. So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to, the review committee has come out with another set of, I don't know, 6 or 7, something like that, books that they went through. We'll report on those. That will be coming up later on this evening. And I'm being told, I'm sure he knows that, to restart his browser or clear his cache, I guess. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, he's a computer guru, but you're right. Maybe he needs to clear his cache. Let's see if he got it. I was on a national show the other night, Red Voice Media, with Chad Caton, and they were having problems. I was thinking to myself, well, at least it's not me only. That's why we're going to raise some funds to update some of this. Matter of fact, tonight I had one of my soundboards crap out on me. So we're trying to improve on that. Anyway, I see our guest has arrived in the green room, and we're going to go back to that. And there's a whole lot more. We were kind of stopped in the middle there. Tonight's big focus is election integrity. And as I said earlier, the current push by the RNC and several local county parties to, quote unquote, bank the vote. I'll introduce our guest here as I bring him on. I want to welcome our guest. He is a nationally known expert in day-to-day IT management, technical direction, project management, network architecture, network design, database design, administration, network and cybersecurity, system virtualization, forensics and data recovery. And if that wasn't enough, penetration testing, software development, wireless architecture, surveillance, etc. A known expert in diagnosing complex systems and specializing in root cause analysis, which that part I love. This guy was offered to be one of the first outsiders to examine the forensic images of our nation's trusted voting systems, and has since made this his entire focus, dedicated to applying these skills to delve into our election ecosystem to determine risks, problems, etc., for mitigation and improving the overall system. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mark Cook. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Mark, glad to have you here.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
I see it's nice and sunny there, so I'm assuming you're back in Colorado.
I'm not, and it is very sunny. Hopefully here the sun will get off my face here so I can actually not be washed out. So I apologize. It is moving though. So hopefully in a few minutes it'll be gone.
Awesome. I told my wife and I were talking at dinner and she asked me who's going to be on. And I told her, I said, and I think I told people earlier, I said, I met this guy in Charleston, talking about you. And I said, I've met some pretty smart people. But this guy, when it comes to computers and election integrity and all that, this guy is amazing. I don't know. I mean, you're not that old, Mark, and you have all this stuff in your wheelhouse. I mean, how did you decide to get into this? And you've obviously stuck with it. And I mean, you're an expert.
Well, I started programming when I was 10 years old and started my first IT company when I was 13. So back in the bulletin board days, CompuServe, Prodigy, America Online, as a little kid, I actually ran one of the largest bulletin boards in the Western United States, including one of the larger FidoNet nodes, which actually transferred email before it was email. So I've been doing this a very, very long time. How I got into elections is almost by accident. Over the years, I have enjoyed working on complex systems and trying to figure out what the root cause of problems are for people. That's kind of been my specialty when everyone else is pointing fingers and arguing with each other. Sometimes the boss just wants it fixed, and they would call me to come out and figure out, okay, who's actually at fault here and how do we get it working? So someone knew that was kind of my forte and asked me shortly after the election to come out to DC and help the White House and others around understand where the problems were in the election system and where to look to find the fraud fast enough before the deadline. And so I came out there to help figure all that out, diagram the whole system, determine where the vulnerabilities could be, and then point where we should be looking. And unfortunately, people did not move fast enough.
Right. Right. So as I was saying, I met you, we met each other in Charleston several months ago at a speaking event. And I tell you, Mark, you impressed the shit out of me then, saying the things that I had questions to for years in my head, didn't really know how to put it out of my mouth. But I wanted, and I know we're on a hard time crunch, so I want to respect your time. The RNC has come out with some things called Bank the Vote. What we believe this really is and what they're pushing for, or actually, no, let me ask you, what really is Bank the Vote and why are they pushing this so hard and signing a pledge? They want people to sign a pledge. What is that all about?
Okay, so it's a bad idea. But let me give people some background of what that means and why I believe it's a very bad idea. Early voting was brought about fairly recently under the guise of making it easier for people to vote, giving them more time to vote. But there's actually, I believe, an ulterior motive to early voting. And it also combines the access to information about who is voting early. And the gist is, if someone, a bad actor, were to have information such as who has mailed in their ballot, and they already knew what party affiliation they are, and they knew what their voting history was or their political leanings based on the social media profiles that are obviously known by everyone, has access to all this data, they could build a profile, a model of what the election results are. And if you then include the in-persons that go in and check in on electronic poll books, you also know that they have shown up in person to vote. You know party affiliation, you know their social media profiles, their leanings, and you can blend all that information to get a very accurate idea of what the election results are before you count a single ballot. You don't even need to count ballots anymore to know what the results are within a high likelihood. And if you know that information, you can take that information, calculate where you want to be in the election, and you can insert additional ballots to counter the ballots that are already in the system. And then, of course, you'd have to have a way to insert them. Well, we have mail-in voting. So because mail-in voting exists, anyone could pepper in extra ballots into that system because it's got defective gatekeepers. The signature verification is defective in its design. It cannot do what it claims that it does. And everyone has access to these databases that the citizens don't have control of. So if someone were to insert records into these databases, they could then inject ballots into the system using the data they gain from the system in the early voting period, whether it's mail-in or in person, to in effect completely manipulate the election all from the outside, where no one in the local counties or even states would realize it's happening. And that is the level of sophistication I believe we have achieved now in the election manipulation we are subject to. So when you bank the vote, what they're actually telling you to do is put that information in the system to make it available as early as possible. So a bad actor could take that information and use it to manipulate the system within their means using mail and vote, etc. So what I would do is a smart thing to do is vote on election day only, deprive them of the information that they would use in order to manipulate and make them work for it. Get those votes in on election day in person, not by mail, and expect them to have to try to do their dance with one day. So that's why I think banking the vote is absolutely ingredients for allowing sophisticated actors to manipulate our election.
So where does the pledge come into this? Is that just more data? They're I guess that's the answer. They're acquiring more data with your name ahead of time.
They probably would want people to pledge, yeah. So they kind of knew who to expect to mail their ballots in, very possibly, or go in early to vote. They need as much data as possible, as accurate as possible, in order to make the best guesses possible, so they don't overshoot anything in a way that would cause the citizens to figure out what's going on. So
Gotcha.
I'd say deprive them of that information, vote on election day, just like we'd had for hundreds of years. There's a reason why everything has progressed or regressed to this state. If you look at all the laws that have changed in our elections, especially as of recent, and all the external factors that have forced us into these areas, into these new laws, or relaxing alternative laws, there's a reason behind all of it. It makes it easier and easier and easier to manipulate. So to find out how to solve the problem, just look at the breadcrumbs. Follow the breadcrumbs back and move back to a decentralized election system that's in the hands of the citizens, rather than a system that is slowly being centralized into the hands of others, where the citizens don't have control of it and they don't have access or visibility to it. We can't trust an election system that we cannot verify ourselves. We can't just be expected to blindly trust what someone else tells us about the system. If we don't have an election system that is so transparent that every single citizen can see every aspect of it, and so simple that they can understand every part of it, we cannot use that system, because we can never actually get trust in it, because there's nothing to earn that trust. I'm not going to blindly trust anything. I will trust after I verify it.
Sure. The Reagan principle. The Reagan principle.
You got it.
You know, the RNC is advertising that, you know, we're going to be working hard to get our voters to vote by mail or early in person and ballot harvest. And that's a quote from Ronna McDaniel. She says, in an effort to beat the Democrats. Is this not the same crooked shit, if you want to call it that conservatives have been saying for years that Democrats do in the first place? And if it is, I guess the answer, why would the RNC be authorizing or requesting this same disingenuous and unethical practice? And is it because they want to front load and know the outcome before it happens? Is that where we're going?
Well, I think there's a group of people that are in on it. I think this is a game that both Democrats and Republicans play. It's two political classes that play out cheat each other, while us, the normal citizens, are the ones that are really getting screwed in the end. And so I believe that some people might just be ignorant and not understand the sophistication of what's actually going on. And others actually do know what's going on and want to be able to game the system and out cheat the other guy. Tell you what, you're not going to out cheat someone at their own game. The only way you beat someone at the cheating game is not to play the cheating game. And as close to a decentralized, transparent system we get that puts the power of the election system back in the hands of the people, the better we're going to be off. I think playing the cheating game is disingenuous. It's not who we are. And we're never going to beat them that way anyway. I say we be honest and play it right. And let God take care of the rest.
Understood. You know, Mark, we've been, and I say we, this network, the radio station, my own political platform, we've been preaching to the mountaintops. Anyone that'll listen, that we must demand paper ballots, same day voting, voting in private, opening and counted in public, preferably at the precinct level.
On
I've always
camera
said
would be
that
ideal.
there, yeah. I've always said that third world countries that use purple ink on a thumb, if they have figured this out to make it as legitimized as possible, why is the United States, you know, the world's leading, or one time at least, the superpower, still stumbling over our own feet and can't get this right? You know, can you add to, you know, my simple paper ballot, same day voting, open and counted in public at the precinct level, blah, blah, blah. What can you add to that, you know, would make this legitimate? Let's just call it that.
Okay, absolutely. Take the voter registration and move it out of the third party hands, take it out of the state hands, and put voter registration back in the hands of the counties. Let the counties be responsible for the voter registration, and it should be done with voter registration cards, paper cards. You walk into the county, you bring your body with you, because you have to have a body typically, right? So you bring your body, you fill out the voter registration card after proving you live in that county. They should easily be able to confirm that. And you are then at that point registered to vote. People cannot register to vote online or register to vote electronically. There is no way to make sure the actual person exists that is registering to vote unless that person walks through a door. So we need to have in-person registration at the counties. Take those registration cards, keep them separated by precinct. When it's election day, you send those cards for that particular precinct with a trusted Democrat, Republican, add an independent, I don't care. More transparent, the better. The more people there that are witness, the better. And you send that deck of cards to the precinct location. And then when you walk in to vote, they pull your card out and they confirm that your body matches the ID that's on that card, checking your ID and make sure it is legitimately you that were registered to vote. Give you a ballot, you vote that ballot, you put it in a container, the container never leaves the room, the ballot never leaves the room. At the end of the day, the ballot comes out, it's counted right there by the same citizens that live in your precinct, and those results at the precinct level should be put out to the entire public. The entire United States should have access to precinct level results in every single county, because we are smart enough to add those precinct level results up to get county results, add the county to get to the state, and add the state to get to the federal totals. We need one set of data that all Americans can trust and base everything off of.
You know, here in Beaufort County, where I'm out of and live and vote, we have our county party is extremely far up the ass of the state GOP and Drew McKissick on this bank the vote. I mean, they've been doing their own media campaign. That's, I mean, it's quite impressive for media campaigns. We also have someone who is now our state for the county, our state executive committee woman, who is being credited with helping to author the most recent South Carolina election integrity bill. I happen to call it a election disintegrity or misintegrity bill, because I think we are in worse shape now than we were prior to 2020 with an election integrity in this state. We were actually, you probably don't remember this, but my campaign actually proved that in 2022 in a primary, because of myself and my opponent not being on the ballot. Ironically, though, in 10 minutes, it was fixed via Wi-Fi from Beaufort. That's another whole story. My question is, in this county where we've got someone who is really pushing the machine, says there is no problem. I mean, she's very vocal. The county party, very vocal. what can the average Joe and Jane America do other than try to recruit people that think like them and push them out? What can they do?
Boy, that's a tough question. Sometimes people that are in on it and know it and are benefiting from the manipulation, there's nothing you're ever going to do to convince them, obviously. Those that are just confused and have believed a lie someone else has told them, if you can find a way to get through them enough so they can listen and actually reason through things, and you can actually educate them and open their eyes a little bit, I find that can be very effective. But being able to figure out how to crack that egg and get through to someone enough to help them listen and open their mind up enough to consider something, that is the challenge. And that's why I like to sit down with someone one-on-one, even citizen to citizen, share the information that I have, share what I have learned with them. So at least they are on record as having known what could be going on a very sophisticated level above and beyond what they're aware of. And maybe in a day or 2 days or a week, the wheels turn a little bit and they start connecting the dots a little bit and start understanding what it is they're seeing. A lot of times I like to ask people, have you ever been lied to? Have you ever been conned? Mm-hmm. When you were conned, did you know you were being conned during the con, or did you find out afterward? Everyone finds out after. And then they ask themselves, why didn't I see the signs? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show people the signs now. If they choose to ignore those signs, then I guess we are all going to end up suffering. And unfortunately, that I told you so is going to be the most painful for our country, for our children and our grandchildren. So if someone truly has a good heart and really wants the best, I really hope they open their eyes, their mind, their heart, and listen and pay attention, because I don't know how else to sound the alarm. We have a massive problem here. The fact is, we as citizens cannot control or verify any part of our election system ourselves. That right there is enough. We don't have to prove fraud beyond that. Although I do see symptoms of fraud all over, the fact that we cannot verify our own elections is done, full stop. We have to fix the system so we have a system that each and every citizen can understand, see, and verify. We're counting dots on a piece of paper. This is not rocket science. We have to be smarter than we appear to be. Sadly, America, wake up, snap out of it.
So we've got people here that are watching you, and those that may tune in later. A lot of folks tune in later to watch us after the live. And they hear this and they go, okay, what can I do right now? If somebody said to you, what can I do right now? What should I do first? Because the majority of folks are complete, not even novice. I mean, this is a foreign language. Right now, what could they do? What's the first thing they should do?
Okay. First thing they should do is find election integrity groups around their areas, like-minded people, and work with like-minded people. Find out what those like-minded people think are the right things to do in that area, and help those disparate groups work together. Connect those groups. We have to start working together. We were divided for a reason. This was not by accident. This was a systematic division perpetrated upon the citizens of the United States in order to make sure we did not work together to solve this problem. So reverse that. Work together. Find those groups. If anyone wants, please contact me. I've got a platform that I put together to try to connect people and help the right people find the right people and talk to the right people and share the right information. I'm happy to talk to anyone. Call me directly. If you happen to be an election official, if you are a judge, a sheriff, city council, I don't care. Call me offline. I don't want to put you on the record. If you just want to have a citizen-to-citizen talk, please call me. I'm happy to share this information.
How can people reach out to you?
Oh, here we go. I'll probably get spammed, but 303-990-2660.
990.
Yep. 2660.
303-2660. Let's see. That's 303-990-2660.
You got it. And
we'll
I
put
tell you
that
what,
up there.
that's perfect. And I do get inundated a lot. I will do my best to get back to everyone.
Sure.
I love all my citizens. I love my Democrat citizens. I love my Republican citizens. I don't care what side of the aisle anyone's on. I just want fair elections. I want our citizens' votes to count, and I want us to be able to verify every aspect of that, period.
That's an excellent point. And I couldn't think of a better way to end this. And I know we're running out of time, but this is not a Democrat Republican thing. This is a United States thing. This is a constitutional thing. I said it back in 22. If I'm going to lose an election, I want to lose it fair and square. I can handle the loss. That's not a big deal. But to know that there were people that didn't get to have the chance to pull that lever or punch that Chad or check the mark or whatever, that is un-American.
You got it. And I've had even Democrats have called me and said, "Hey, will you still talk to me even though I'm a Democrat?" Hey, I was a Democrat more of my life than I was a Republican, so I'll talk to anyone. But they've come to me and told me that they think they're getting, we'll say, screwed out of their elections also. And these are just citizens that aren't in the club. So if they're not in the club, they're not allowed to play. And I will support anyone. I will support my fellow citizens to make sure that we have a fair election system, that everyone is allowed to do their civic duty.
There's his number, ladies and gentlemen, 303-990-2660. You can contact me later if you want to, if you didn't have a chance to write it down. There's also groups, as Mark talked about, we have here in South Carolina, the Palmetto State Watch, and et cetera. Contact me. I'll be glad to give you those folks. Mark Cook, probably the smartest damn computer patriot I've ever known, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mark, for being on with us. You are always welcome here on the House of Cards and the Big Patriot Radio Network.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. What a guy. And I mean it completely sincerely. This guy is super intelligent. When it comes to all this, when I heard him speak, I was just sitting there going, "Oh my God, where was this guy when I was in business? I could have used some of just a little bit. If I could pick up what he forgot, man, I'd be way ahead." So that is awesome. We appreciate him being on. He has a tight schedule. A lot of folks wanting some of his time. And again, there's the number. If you want to reach out to him, 303-990-2660. Don't pester him. Leave a voicemail. The guy's got a job to do. And also, if you want access to some of the groups here in South Carolina, just shoot me an email, bigpatriotradio@gmail.com. You can text me, 843-305-0600. Hit me up on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. Just hit me.
Introducing to you. You're on House of Cards. Live on Facebook and YouTube. It's going down. Locked and loaded with the truth.
That's right, Nancy. Welcome, Venezuela. They destroyed that country with voting machine manipulation. This gal is super intelligent when it comes to voting machines. She's the one who saw the fraud happen to me. And my opponent. She was sitting right there as a poll watcher. So she also has a lot of information. I'll be glad to, with her permission, to give you her number, vice versa. Helga, thank you for chiming in. Another election guru right there. All right, let's keep moving along. And again, that's let me go up here and we will that is Mark's number. If you want it again, 303-990-2660. All right. There was some breaking news again happening over the week at the Beaufort County School Board meeting. The news that two teachers who have been at the topic of recent news from Hilton Head Island Schools, the campus there on Hilton Head Island, were at the school board meeting with their brood of supporters, clamoring and begging for the school board to throw out, to ban, ironically, to do whatever to parent David Cook. David Cook's been on this program before. He's a friend of the show. He's a friend of the network. He is a Hilton Head Island resident, father of 2 school-age children. Some folks call him the chicken feed guy. And I hope he wears that badge, fondly and do something with it. Anyway, these 2 teachers have been implicated by Cook. One of them sending out these secret surveys to her kids in class, asking about pronouns and keeping secrets from their parents, and the other teacher, and we'll go back to that one in a second, the other teacher for teaching lessons having to do with white privilege problems, female genitalia mutilations, and older male circumcisions mutilations. The thing about the one teacher and these surveys, she admitted she's been doing it for 4 years. She got up and spoke. We only found it this year because Mr. Cook's child and some others, but his child brought it home and said, what is up with this? He's raised his children, he and his wife have raised his children to be aware, stranger danger, kind of be aware, be alert. The world needs more alerts. Follow me? Anyway, she's been doing it for 4 years. They were secret surveys. She even said it. Now, when she said it in writing, the other night, it was, these aren't secret. They're put on Google Drive. Well, not everybody has Google Drive or Slides or whatever. Then why did you say, we'll keep this between me and you? Because you see, Mrs. Teacher, you're either secret or you're not. It's like being pregnant. You either are or you're not. Now, I guess there's an asterisk there for our trans folks that could be possibly pregnant if they think they are. But anyway, that's a whole other program. Anyway, what was interesting about this whole thing was that the very sad story that, I thought she was a reporter. I don't know what I want to call her now, but Mary Dimitrov of the Island Packet put out there, not once, not twice, but 3 times that I'm aware of, this subject since the meeting. 3 different articles, different angles. Will they ban Cook or not? Will the father be trespassed? Whatever. In her articles, she obviously mentions Cook and by name. I mean, there isn't any topic of whether she sought out. I don't see the topic of, did I seek out a response? Did I get a response? I mean, did he say, kiss my ass? No. Okay. Was it offered? Did she try? I don't know. I didn't see that. She also named station friend Corey Allen of the Overton Report. And I know for a fact, because we talked about it, that she did not reach out to him. He and I spoke, did not reach out to him. He has reached out to the school board and the school district. They haven't reached back out to him either. This is not journalism. This is sensationalism. The 2 teachers that took the bite and ran with it, and that's what they did, saying how this is the catalyst with this. I want you to pay attention to this. The teachers, after this article, the night of, they started saying this, and in the article it's been beat on. They feel threatened. They feel harassed, fearful of their life, all because of Cook. I made the point today, as a matter of fact, while conversing with one of the teachers in question, one of their husbands. Those claims are idiotic and complete bullshit propaganda of the left. I'm not discounting anyone's feeling if it's honorable and just. And I said that given this, I said this to the gentleman. I said that given this, then their claims against Cook and how the story was written, or stories, and what they were quoted in saying, then their claims, their vernacular is most definitely harassing and threatening. I reached out to Cook and I said, hey, in my humble, opinion, you should file police reports, file a complaint, especially if one of them is quoted, and they were, as saying she is going to get a gun now. I mean, how else should he take it? No, for those of you on the left-handed persuasion, I am not saying that gun ownership is bad. I have a closet full. Everyone should have a gun. But to say that after saying you feel threatened, your life is in jeopardy because of him, I'm going to go get a gun, that is threatening to him. I explained this to the husband. I said, do you not understand where I'm going with this? And because of your conversation with me, I have a right to now say, I feel threatened. I feel that you're harassing me. Maybe I need to go file a police report. How else should he take it? This has gone back and forth for days now. I mean, it is Thursday, so it's only been 2 days. It was Tuesday night, Wednesday, and then all day today. I put it out there multiple ways, multiple places, social media, whatever. I talked to the husband. I said, if either of those teachers want to come on the show, House of Cards, with Cook, and I'll be more than happy to moderate a civil conversation. Let's do it. I'm all for it. No charge, no fees. All you got to do is have a camera and a microphone. I'll put it all together. No takers. No takers. So I said, hey, come on one at a time. Let's do it one at a time. I'll give you a platform to share your thoughts. No takers. No takers. All talk, no action. Of course, at the meeting, the iniquitous beast of Ladies Island was there along with her miscreant imps. She's been given the opportunity to come on this show multiple times, but that would interfere with her personal life, I guess, because she's not so brave when that's offered. One of the imps' husband said he would come on. Same guy who decided he would spread the physical address of Avi Zalai, my fellow complainant, which is completely a whole level of low and absurd. She should feel threatened. She should feel harassed. She should go file a police report. That's what Harper and Burleson did. Anyway, the little fellow, and that's all he is, has yet to follow up. I've given him phone numbers. I'll send you the link. He won't show up. You see, they don't want to, and they can't. They can't, because when they hear truth, when they hear reality, they implode. It's like they become apoplectic. They get apoplectic and they fall apart. That's what they do. Julianne, good to hear from you. Complete and total exaggeration. I was there. He tossed sandwich bag size baggies filled with chicken feet on the stage. He did not throw it aggressively. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is out there in video for everyone to see. William Smith, who I have zero respect for anymore, decided to get up out of his chair and nonchalantly walk over there and kick them off the stage like this was, like, I don't know what that was. That was theater. Yeah, he didn't throw a thing. Now, I've had people say, well, would you have done that? Well, I don't know. I handle myself. I handle my business a little bit different. We're all different. David Cook handled it that way. It is what it is. Would I have done that? I don't know. I wasn't in that situation. I thought that was pretty ingenious I would have probably, if I'd have done something, I would have given them bags of chicken shit, not chicken feed. So at least he's a little more honorable than I would have been, I guess, a little more tasteful. But that's just me. I'm glad to see, Avi, that you have your concealed carry. Very important that that everybody should have that. You see, the bottom line here is that the book issue has moved into a new realm. I mean, this thing has taken on feathers. It's taken on wings. It's flown. It's moved. It's gone with national news stories, and it took on a transgenderism, and it took on all kind of stuff. I mean, this thing has gone into another stratosphere. The bottom line is, the new realm is that it is about lewdness and vulgarity. Remember those two words, lewd and vulgar. Lewdness, vulgarity. That's what this is about. The school board is creating a community stature of approval of lewdness and vulgarity. That is the bottom line. Let me say that again for the Baptists in the back row. The Beaufort County School Board en masse is accepting lewdness and vulgarity as their opinion, their promotion. These books have no education value to anyone under the age of 18, and over 18 only for, some people would call it for critical thinking skills. I understand that. I can get those skills and not have to read that kind of stuff, but be that as it may, let's just say under the age of 18. For those that think it is perfectly okay for your kid to read that shit, and that's all it is, there is something seriously wrong with you. And I mean that. If you want your kid or anyone's kids to read that, there is something seriously wrong with you. Colbert, I can't believe you said there was something wrong with those people. Well, I did. There is something wrong with you. Why would you want perversion in front of children? Why? What possesses you to want that? And I mean, I'm serious. I am very, very serious. What is wrong with you that you want children to be able to pick up a book about learning how to give or perform or receive a blowjob? How to blow up a school? How to shoot up a school? How to perform oral sex on a neighbor at the ripe age of 8 years old? Stories about the best lubricant for masturbating. Yeah, that's in the books. Hey, you're only reading it out of context. Bullshit. Bull crap. If you fit that mold, and if any of you are listening and you have the balls to put it in writing on the chat room, which I know nobody does, if you fit that mold, let us know, because honestly, there is something wrong with you. And I will guarantee you, as I'm sitting here right now, write it down, take a video, snapshot it. I will guarantee I can get you the right help. I guarantee it. I guarantee I can get you the help that you need. I guarantee it. The same goes for any teacher, any librarian, because they've spoken out, both librarians and teachers, to support this. And I'm not saying all, not at all. I've talked to a lot of teachers who are like totally embarrassed about it, but they can't say anything for fear that they'll lose their job because of the sisterhood at the district office or that other stuff. And some of you know exactly what I'm saying. Anyway, teachers, librarians that support this is especially for you. To support this is perverse. And you are prostituting the minds of youth. That's right. I just said it. Push record right now. If you support this kind of book being able to be picked up by any student, it is perverse, and you are prostituting the minds of our youth. Period. But wait a minute. Beaufort County has the opt-out plan, they said. So everyone can still have a voice, they said. First, because you are still wanting to make available said books, you're still perverting the community and prostituting the minds of the youth. Remember, the community standard being set by the school board is lewd and vulgar because it is perverse and prostituting the minds of the youth. Second, the opt-out procedure sounds good on paper. It doesn't work. We have caught, from reports that I've gotten back, Bluffton High, May River High, McCracken Middle, Hilton Head Island Middle, Beaufort L, Ladies Island Middle, and Whale Branch High and Middle, not even looking for the forms while the books have been checked out. Yes, we have people that have on purpose had their children or whatever check out the books, and they never got caught, asked, or whatever. Wow. Remove the books, they say. They're banning them, they say. No one is banning anything. Let me make that point clear. No one is banning anything. Well, removing them is banning. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not at all. Why do you mindless souls that still claim we want to ban them? I've never used that word in any of my complaints or appeals at all. The only time I've used it is to rebut the fact that we don't want to ban anything. Yet we still see people online, from the newspaper to different media platforms, talk about, wow, these book banners have ended up in history like the Nazis. You have no idea what you're talking about, period. Anyway, if you aren't going to remove them, put them in a special room. And we've offered this type of olive branch, if you will, as an idea of how we can make this work. You know, it's not all bitch and moan and not bringing anything to the table. I used to tell that to my employees. Hey, if you've got a problem, bring me a solution. I may tell you your solution's full of shit, or I may say, hey man, that's the best solution I've ever heard. Let's use it. But at least you had the balls to bring me a solution. We brought a solution. Not the best one, but it's a solution. It was called an opt-in form with a special room. Remember back in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s and all, where you had that room? And if you wanted one of those movies, you went to that room. Same thing. That shelf behind the counter, whatever. But an opt-in form. Case solved. Let's move on to something else. We could have been talking about football coming up in the high schools and college soon instead of this. But no. Wait. This misled and overly hypersexualized group that follows along with the iniquitous beast of Ladies Island and her miscreant imps. They're claiming that myself and Ivy, the other complainant, are making this political. This is the funny part. They're saying we're making this political, and that is politically motivated. Let's set that record straight again for like the 33rd time. That's right, Ivy. The district's even calling it banning, and they have no idea what the hell they're doing. They don't. The more we're with them or in this, the more I see they have no freaking idea what they're doing. Anyway, for the 33rd time, let me set the record straight. We have never, ever, never made this political. As a matter of fact, we have verbally made a point to steer away from that. In fact, and I told this to someone today, I made the claim back in the winter of 2022, we just came out of, I made the claim, I said it right here first, that if the review committee or committees ever removes any of these books, which they have, if the same group, the Beast of Ladies Island and her imps and all that, if that same group who raises holy war against us, if they don't say a word, not a word, if they don't do backflips, getting pissed off at the district and the review committees, calling for their head, so to speak, for officially removing a book, then it is 110% political to them. Them. The left, the atheists, all of them. There have been 5 books removed as of today. That's right, Julianne. As of today, we just got an email about it yesterday, I think it was. There's been 5 books, and correct me if I'm wrong, Avi, but I think it's now 5. There have been 5 books removed as of today from these half-assed so-called review committees. The 5th was last night. And so far, there hasn't been one person, not one person, that has gotten their panties twisted or wrapped around the axle over it. They've made it political. People like Earl Campbell, William Smith, Dick Geyer, Chloe Gordon, Angela Middleton, you all bought into the political hype of these morons that are telling you one thing but doing another. They made it political right in front of your eyes. We told you they would do it, and they've done it.
Locked and loaded. Let's go. Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
All right, big news happening tonight in Lexington County. We have quite a few people on YouTube, believe it is, or Twitter, from Lexington County. The Lexington County GOP chair, Pam Godwin. And now, for those of you that aren't in Lexington County, you don't want to turn off yet, because this could happen here or wherever you're listening from. This could happen to you too. Lexington GOP chair, Pam Godwin, and I'm serious when I say she might be the most wacko chair in the state, maybe. She has a style that is borderline Hitler-esque, ruling by fiat and by intimidation. She plays off as a holy roller, but when you watch her in action, wow. Not casting judgment, but let me tell you, wow. Let me just say that again. Wow. She single-handedly derailed and tried to ruin Zoe Warren in her county when he was running for state GOP chair because of threats she thinly veiled against him and her voting bloc. She licks the heels of Jeff Davis because of infighting and her more perverse ways of running the GOP party. She tried to ruin Zoe Warren. She accuses people of things that are insane and doesn't crack a smile. Recently, she had her henchmen throw out the first vice chair and the third vice chair of her party at a normal meeting before it got started because they were going to cause a problem, she thought. And she wasn't even there that I saw, or she ran out. I think that's actually what I saw, her redhead run around the corner on video. Excuse me. Like, seriously? The first and third chair don't agree with her philosophy. So anyway, the people of the GOP have freaking had enough of her bullshit, and that's all it is. They've organized and had planned to put up motions at the next county meeting, which was scheduled for 7 August. And there was a group that was going to motion to remove her from office. Why exactly? Well, let's take a look at a flyer they put out about her. I want you to see this. We'll oops. Let's go back here. Let's do a little share screen. And here, let's do this. Let me come back on here. So I hope everybody can see that. So anyway, this came out. It's a couple pages. It's good stuff. We're not going to read it item by item, but we're going to go over it here. Let me get my screen set properly and all that. Anyway, executive summary. Lexington County GOP chairman's position. It talks about what it is right there. Pam Godwin systematically alienated, banned, and dismantled a dedicated core of conservative volunteers to the detriment of the party. Now, if this has some ringing of Beaufort County, just hold that thought to the side. Failing to execute the duties, refuses to change, blah, blah, blah. She should be censured and asked to resign. Important issues at hand. Failure to execute. Personal attacks. You can see there. She's attacked Zoe Warren, Mike Green, John Allen, Sarah Grace Allen, Mark Weber, Carolyn Church, and so on and so forth. She spreads untruths about people in the conservative movement, including Joe Wilson, Corey Allen of the Overton Report, Rebecca Blackburn Hines, and Gavin Smith. This is true. The chairman commonly refers to anyone she doesn't like or agree with her as a rhino or evil. Quick out of her mouth. Oh, you're a rhino. Oh, you're evil. You're the devil. You're Satan. This is how she works. They're questioning her operational integrity. She raised almost $6,000, was it $5,600 for a bronze elephant event to be held. Make a long story short, it didn't go on. She decided, well, we'll do something else. That never happened. Where's the money? She don't want to talk about it. She forcefully is now trying to get rid of the treasurer because the treasurer is saying, hey, where's the money? You cross Pam Godwin's path, she wants to get rid of you. Public relation disaster. That's a small statement because she is a complete dumpster fire. When people hear her name, they cringe. Her attacks on Zoe Warren. You can read there what was going on. Pam Godwin and Harrison Musselwhite. I'm more disappointed in Harrison Musselwhite because he ran for governor and had Zoe as his lieutenant governor. And during the state election for chair, he stuck a knife in the back of Zoe Warren, in my opinion. Jeff Davis did it as well. But Chairman Godwin tried to ruin his name in his own county. Her henchman that I mentioned is Lano Siegling. You'll see his name here. He is the second vice chair. He does what she says. That's a henchman. We'll move down after Zoe. That's a full story. If you want this, I'll be glad to send it to you. Mark Weber, first vice chair, once she kicked out of the restaurant meeting, former EC, etc. He's coming forward saying, hey, inappropriate. She is completely inappropriate. The chair can't resolve conflicts without destroying relationships. Again, if right here, it's in big bold. She lashes out and attacks anyone that doesn't agree with her. Obviously, there's a problem. Obviously, she does not need to be in this position, because if you don't agree with her, you're Satan, you're the devil, you're a devil worshiper, you're a cross-dressing transvestite, period. Has she ever earnestly apologized for any appropriate actions or outbursts? He says, think about her interactions with her. There are some people who can't apologize. I know I do it all the time. I make mistakes every single day. And you have to apologize to learn to grow. Mark Weber, former first vice chair. What's his problem? Financial mismanagement, disorganization, and a lack of transparency. If you don't do it her way, it's the highway. Comes to late meetings, unprepared, doesn't assign things, doesn't delegate. It's all control. This is a total control issue. Mark posts some copies of tests, some screenshots there you can see. Another volunteer attacked Carolyn Church from Lake Murray. She talks about Pam Godwin and other folks. Quoting, he said I was a traitor and pointed his finger to me to get out. I believe that is referring to Leno or whatever his name is. Sarah Grace Allen, precinct member. Godwin had wrote a Facebook post addressing someone vaguely. Harrison Musselwhite decided to come in and post comments where his business was not asked about. This particular gal, Sarah Grace Allen, questioned it and asked for some clarification, if you will. Immediately, Pam Godwin deletes her and blocks her. Harrison deletes her and blocks her. This is how they behave. Harrison has deleted and blocked myself and Corey Allen. Different text messages, screenshots you see there. Very interesting. If you have time, I'll be glad to send it to you. Between Sarah Allen and Pam Godwin. Facebook posts, etc. John Allen, volunteer. On Facebook, Pam Godwin and her many aliases, of which we'll go into, continually starts drama. I've been on video meetings that she's been on, and the accusations coming from her, and I didn't know who she was at the time, made me go, who the fuck is this girl? This lady's a wacko. She reads private messages to insinuate people, giving the impression of impropriety, as you see there in that text, or that large print. Statewide slander. Unbelievable. Misconduct, possibly as a chairwoman. Now, it's true that Pam Godwin doesn't care for Drew McKissick. Neither do I. But she licks the boots, the heels of Jeff Davis. I don't. I would assume that with this right here that we're talking about being picked up by the state media and the state GOP, they will love to be able to push her out. Moving on, there's more text message screenshots that they have gathered from her, about her, where she has run her mouth. Chris Smith, another volunteer, was attacked, former candidate for State House, Senate. She comes out because she doesn't agree with him, or he doesn't agree with her. She called him a womanizer. He said that she is telling people that he's a womanizer, and he grabbed a woman in a bar. What a quick feeling way of turning somebody against anybody. Mike Green, volunteer, says Angus Godwin, who happens to be her husband, slapped this guy at the 21 Christmas party. Apparently, that's a case that is still ongoing. There was an article in Fitz News about it. You can see a copy of it there. Melissa Brown, very big precinct organizer and volunteer, completely in the opposite court of Pam Godwin and a supporter of Zoe Warren. Pam Godwin comes out and says she said she heard I made sexual overtures to Zoe at our old building. All false. More text chains to back this up. And the last outsider, Corey Allen. He does the Overton Report podcast here on this network. She has gone after him. She didn't like what he had to say, so she called him a trans cross-dresser. That's her down here, next to her brother. But this is the kind of crap she does. But who is she really? You see, all of these things right here, these names, these are all aliases. These are all active voting, or not all, but 5 of these are active voting registrations where she is registered. Well, that's illegal. What are you trying to pull? Pam Jackson or Pam Blanton or Pam LaBarbecue. Anyway, this particular document goes forward and talks about the rules and so forth of the party. Be glad to share that with you because she's evil. She's strange. Harrison, it's amazing. So anyway, Godwin, or one of her aliases, got a hold of that document that I just showed you, and she quickly went into action. And this is where it gets a little stranger than it already is. First, she tried to cancel the meeting on the 7th by saying the steering committee voted to do so. Now, the steering committee members, several, enough, more than a quorum, cried out and said, no, we didn't. We haven't voted on anything. We haven't even met. Lie. So then, with her henchman, Leno Siegling, she went into action and set out to get in front of all this by scheduling an emergency meeting for tonight, 3 August at 8:15. 10 minutes ago it started. She decided that let's get in front of this and let's make it where only residents of Lexington County can come. She put that out there. Now, that is illegal. There's not really enough time to fight that. So it's kind of like just you got to deal with it if you know what I'm saying. So this is what came out. Was it today? I don't know. It was either yesterday or today. This is a media advisory that came out. Now, Mark Weber, Melissa Sprouse Brown put this out. They're 2 of the ones that this gal, this Hitler-esque Godwin came out on. The media got this today and they ran with it statewide. Lexington County GOP plans vote to censor chairman, request resignation. Membership meeting of the Lexington County Republican Party specially called by the chairwoman with only 24 hours notice. Yes, that's true. That's what they're doing tonight. It's only an executive committee, men. Party officials, precinct presidents, elected officials can come. And the caveat she added, you must be a resident of Lexington County. Tonight, 8:15, American Legion, blah, blah, blah. And here it talks about what she really is doing. She is trying to get out in front of this to be able to get rid of the folks who are going to vote her out. She's more than likely, she does not have enough people to stop this from happening. She will not go out without a fight. So they put this out here. The media got a hold of it, and they started spreading it, and it's gone wildfire. Corey Allen called me today. He was on the way to Lexington to cover it. He's not a resident of Lexington County. However, assuming there's enough people there, this may be watched right now up there. They're going to try to get him a motion put in to allow him as media to come in. Corey and I talked. We were going to have him do possibly a call-in or a live feed from the event. I just got a text from him that he has been allowed to come in, so the votes are there. We're going into executive session, and I have to testify at 8:15, so I won't be able to do a live stream. So that's good. There are things moving in the right direction to remove this cancer from the Lexington County GOP. Funny thing is, who's going to be the first one to jump off her ship? Who's going to do it first? Like I said, she's a Jeff Davis acolyte and licks the boots he walks on. Will he abandon her? It would be hilarious if he did, and she will go off the deep end. If her savior, Jeff Davis, backs away, and if I was him, I would back away quickly, she'll flip out. Harrison Musselwhite, will he distance himself? Who's going to distance themselves from him? They're talking right now. I can guarantee you that conversation is going on. She will go off the deep end. Personally, I think the state party ought to look into why she has voting records active in 3 or 4 different, 5 places in the state. That's right. I mean, you saw it yourself. And that is illegal. Aside from all the other things she's doing, the state has a responsibility there to look into voting records. Why is she registered in 5 different places? 3, 4, 5. No. It's like 3 or 4 different names. That's illegal. That's fraud. What Mark Cook said, go high. You got to do it the right way, not cheat. You never win by cheating. Don't do what other parties have done. You don't need to do that. Paula Brown, Councilwoman Paula Brown, Beaufort County, here tonight. Good to see you. Starting in September, Beaufort County Council meetings. There you all see that, and that is correct. They're going to be remodeling. All the folks of Beaufort County, you have pawned up some bucks to have county council chambers and county council executive conference rooms, and I'm assuming some of the other offices. They're going to be renovated, remodeled, and you folks here in the county, man, they appreciate you putting in your 10 cents a piece to make that happen. 10 cents every month a piece, and they're going to hold the county council meetings, and I'm assuming that'll be committee meetings over at Mink Point, the school where the school board meetings are held. I'm assuming that they'll still do places around the county, as they should, for folks on Hilton Head, St. Helena, Bluffton, etc. So anyway, next week, right here on the House of Cards and BigPatriotRadio.com network, South Carolina House of Representatives Rob Harris of Greenville County is going to be here. We are going to continue our conversation about election integrity and the bills here in South Carolina that Rob Harris has on the docket. And, Mark Cook tonight, again, thank you so much, Mark, whom I want to thank especially for coming on here, talked about it at a 30,000 foot level. Okay, that was a 30,000-foot level. Rob, Representative Harris, is going to pick that ball up and start talking about it at a state level, a local level, more granular, and talk about some bills that are coming onto the General Assembly floor in 2024. We're going to continually keep you abreast of the Eric Greenway firing investigation that has been so tight-lipped, except where some of our informants given us some information. We'll keep you abreast of that. We're going to always, as always, we're watching what the school board and the school district are doing regarding our kids and porn. Again, it's lewd and vulgar. It is lewd and vulgar what they're doing. It's perverse, and they're prostituting the minds of our children. And the summer's coming along, and things are going to be heating up with that. Once again, remember to tune into BigPatriotRadio.com for the best in blues, news, country, pop, and classic rock. 24/7 at BigPatriotRadio.com. That's BigPatriotRadio.com. Podcasts from New America Movement, The Overton Report, House of Cards, Culture Crossroads with Andrew Southard, and the Frank Friedenauer's Freedom Hour. Say that several times. All week long. All you got to do is tune in and watch. Until next Thursday, good night, America.
That's why they call me